Hello and welcome to the 214 Sports Show, episode 78, the Terrance Steele episode. And that won't be the last time you hear about a Cowboys offensive lineman in this episode, but we welcome you to another episode. It's wonderful to have you. We talk everything Dallas sports every Thursday at 11 a.m. Today we'll be talking a little bit about the Rangers, their deadline approaching quickly. Are they going to make a push for the playoffs? Also, the Dallas Mavericks hiring a new president and his recent comments, and some injury news with the Dallas Cowboys. But before we get all into that, I'm TJ Krilowicz. I'm your host. I'm joined alongside my co-host, who's waving right now, Joseph Duffey. Joe, how are you doing?
Doing great. The Rangers are getting a little bit hot, and yet, they're kind of struggling in Anaheim again. We're seeing this offense not really do their part in some games, and the pitching not do their part in the back end. So, doing all right. Glad to be back in the podcast for episode 78.
And the Rangers, man, 11 and 0 in the postseason and just a few years ago on the road. Now they just can't seem to catch a break on the road. But yeah, we're very happy for you to join us in this podcast. We love to have new people come in and interact with us, and we love to see the growth of the community. And so, anyways, let's get right into this episode. We have I'm going to start off with on today's date. This might be the first loss that we're going to talk about on today's date, but I just think this one's pretty historical, I guess. But this happens July 31st, 2020. The Dallas Mavericks and Houston Rockets, they end an overtime shootout with the Houston win 153 to 149. I don't know if you remember this. This
I
was the
remember this game.
first
Yeah.
game played for Dallas in the bubble.
They should have won. I remember
They
this
should have
game.
won. They were up 11 going into the fourth, should have won. But there were seven different players from both the Rockets and the Mavericks that scored 20 plus points. Joe, I want you to try to name all seven. If you can name all seven,
This is the end of, his
I'll
era,
I'll
so
buy you I'll buy you like some fries on Postmates from McDonald's or something.
this is the end of his era, so Harden for sure.
Harden had 49 points. Yeah, he was the leading
Yep.
scorer of that game.
Luka for sure.
Luka had 28 points. So there's two.
Chris Paul. Was he
Chris
still there at the
Paul,
time?
it was
He's
not
on the
even.
Thunder. He's on OKC. He's on OKC. Yep. Uh, Seth Curry had to
Oh
be.
no. No.
No.
No.
Oh
I
Jesus.
mean, you only got two.
I'm off. This is getting ugly.
Who did Chris Paul get
Uh.
traded for, man?
Oh my God. What did he get traded for?
Yeah. Who got sent to Houston for Chris Paul?
Oh, Russ.
Russ. Yeah,
Okay.
31.
31. Let's see. Let's think of some
One more
bigs.
Rockets player, three more Mavs.
More Rockets player, 30 mils.
The Rockets
Uh,
one is pretty tough.
oh my God, this is bad. Rockets, Rockets, Rockets. Jesus, the Mavs. Dwight Powell wasn't getting 20, was he? No
That
way.
is an awful guess. I have to Awful guess. The
Uh,
Mavs leading score at 39
oh, Brunson,
points.
Brunson, Brunson.
Nope. No Brunson. 39
Um,
points leading score for the Mavericks.
30.
International player.
Maxi? Maxi didn't have 39.
No.
Internet. I already said
Oh.
Luca.
His draft, and when he got drafted, it became a huge meme.
Oh, KP. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Chris
okay.
Stops, Chris Stops, 39
Okay, I
points. All
forgot he
right,
was still
got
here.
it,
I
got it.
forgot he was still here.
The other two people were maybe part of the deal with Chris Stops coming to Dallas.
Mm, dude, why am I forgetting these guys? I'm getting exposed. This is
Michigan
bad.
player, both Michigan actually, both played
Trey
together.
Burke. Trey Burke.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was cooking that in that bubble. And you said another guy was Michigan too?
Mm-hmm.
Trey Burke. Trey Burke.
Green bean, green bean.
Oh my
Tim
God.
Hardaway Jr. Tim
Ah,
Hardaway
okay.
Jr. 24 points for
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. The last Rockets player was Daniel House Jr. at 20
Oh
points.
yeah, I was not getting freaking Daniel House.
Yep.
The weird spell
Tough one,
Daniel.
tough one. But anyways, let's get into this episode. That was a fun. All right, that was a fun one. I thought you were gonna do a little bit better than that, but
Dang, man.
it gets
Thomas.
that was a tough one. It
That
was
was
five
indeed a
years ago,
tough
a
one.
long time ago. The bubble was a fever dream, anyways. We're going to start off with the Texas Rangers. Like you said, they started the heat up. They were the hottest team coming out of these All-Star break into the second half. Their first three, their three homestands against the Tigers, A's, and Braves went 8-1, and immediately followed that up going to the Angels, who have been struggling a little bit recently and losing the first two. We don't know the result of the third game yet. We don't know if they're getting broomed. We don't know if they are going to come back and, you know, get the Seattle on a positive note. But there's another thing that the Rangers have, and that's a couple days from now, they got the trade deadline, and they got to worry about that. That's a big deal. They're kind of in the middle of the road. They're right on the fringe. They're a fringe playoff team. It's always a tough decision on that point. Do you buy? Do you sell? Do you stay put? I think a lot of people are really pushing for the Rangers to be aggressive like they were in 2023. Obviously, they're in a much better position in 2023, but kind of see them, we've kind of talked a lot about buying or selling for the Rangers. I think we're both in agreement that they should buy, right?
Yeah, I mean, we said it last week. They probably should buy. They have, opportunities to make a run, I think. I think they for sure go for a back end reliever. And by the way, it's weird to say that when their numbers aren't bad by bullpen. They're a top five bullpen this year. Might be top three, honestly, just based on ERA. And it's weird
Yeah.
to think that because it's a typical band of misfits method that we've seen from the Rangers, these past few years. Just get some, bargain guys, some guys who are very cheap on the market and sign them to these cheap contracts and then just hope and pray that it goes well. And if not, try to get something at the deadline. And somehow it's worked for, I guess, the majority of the season, even though it feels like the way I talk that it's kind of a bad bullpen, but really it's been a really good bullpen. So I don't know if they're going to go for someone like Pete Fairbanks, have him come back home and pitch for the Rangers as a closer, which I wouldn't mind at all. But John Gray has looked good since his return back from, the injured list. He didn't pitch well in the second game of the game in Anaheim, but he's been overall pretty good in his return back from the IL, and he's been a nice setup man. Seventh inning maybe. A two-inning guy in the bullpen for this Rangers team. So as guys are getting healthier, Josh Board will be back soon as well. I think Pete Fairbanks would be a nice guy to have in the closing spot. So possibly going there first. I don't know what bat they would get. So that's the question maybe you could answer, but I really
Oh,
don't know. I don't know who in the world they'll possibly
I,
get to
I
help
mean,
their lineup.
it's
They might not get anybody. I think it'd just be pitching, honestly.
I don't know. I think it is only pitching too, because you're talking about the batting, and a lot of the players have already gone out. I mean, you talk about Naylor getting traded to Seattle, and at this point, you almost want to think about getting somebody just so Seattle and Houston can't jump on them because they are being aggressive so far. I think Houston will be aggressive as well. Um, I think the only batter that they would care about would be somebody like Marcell Ozuna. But they don't need somebody who's going to be high power, inconsistent type bat. They have a lot of those already, but I think that's the name that's been floating around a lot. I love Pete Fairbanks, though. Pete Fairbanks, great choice. I think they could also look at Colorado. I mean, Colorado can do great business with anybody. They have a couple relievers. Jimmy Herget, one of them, that's I think subpar three ERA or sub three ERA. Great strikeout guy. I believe he's even a lefty, but somebody that the Rangers can pick up and be get a huge closer because we still don't really have an identifiable closer. Damn, tongue twister there for some reason. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of options there for relievers. I think that that is the route that they go because you talk about it, it's like they really aren't a bad bullpen, and bullpens are on such a thin line, especially with the Rangers, just because of 2 years ago. But I mean, they have done pretty well, but you look at some of these recent games that they've lost, and you can point the finger to them just a tad bit, and hopefully Josh Sborz can come back and be an impact like he was in the 2023 postseason. Hopefully, Trevor Mall comes back soon.
I'm
We
absolutely
hear about
sick.
him because
I
he
totally
is
forgot about
all-star
it, bro.
numbers.
Forgot
So
about him.
yeah,
It's
yeah, nobody's
crazy.
been talking about him, but you want him to come back. That puts another starter like Kumar Rocker who can potentially go out and eat innings in the bullpen as well, and maybe even be a better piece in the bullpen. So we'll see what happens with the Rangers, but I think we should, I think they go by. I think they have to go look in the reliever market for sure.
I was sick that they didn't get Ryan Helsley. That's a guy I had number one above Fairbanks. But since he's going to New York to be with the Mets, it is what it is. I really liked him as, a closing man, had 49 saves in 2024, led the league. Um,
Absolutely.
I don't know why these rumors of David Bednar keep floating on my Twitter timeline, man. Please, enough. No David Bednar. The times that he was really at his peak for being a Ranger was when Ezekiel Duran was popping off, and that was, during the World Series year where he was filling in at third base, and we were like, man, is Duran gonna be the future of this team? And as we see right now, it's not looking bright for him. This is
Hey,
not
we
one of
didn't
his,
even need him in the end because, Aroldis Chapman, Aroldis Chapman, Jose Leclerc,
yeah,
Josh Forsberg, how
exactly.
many times they gave us a heart attack, say? They
And
closed
it
out almost every game.
ended up being a blessing. So I guess
So,
not giving up Duran for David Bednar ended up not working out. But please, just please, no more Bednar rumors, for 2025. It's
uh,
2025, no more.
the big 2025 for David Bednar. Come on, guys. Let's be real.
It'd be the most
Um,
Ranger pickup, to be honest.
And I really think that this 4 game series against Seattle is going to be a real big teller. It's going to be pretty awkward if you go out there and try to be aggressive buyers and then get swept by Seattle, which is a very big possibility. I hope that obviously it doesn't happen. The best case scenario, I think, in this is winning 3 out of 4. I mean, you're
Hmm.
going up against some of the top pitchers for the Mariners as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough, tough weekend for the Rangers. Hopefully, they can keep above water and stay in that playoff picture. But anyways, yeah, another recent news with the Texas Rangers is that they are announcing Josh Hamilton back into the back to the Rangers, putting him in the Hall of Fame, going to give him his golden jacket.
Hambone.
Gonna put his name up with some of his other teammates like Elvis Andrews, Beltre, Michael Young. It's gonna look great. I'm a big fan of it. I know a lot of people have some very big differing opinions about Josh Hamilton. But before we do, I thought it was interesting. I mean, I thought I was a casual because the Rangers tweeted out when they announced it. They said Hambone is coming back. It's Hambone, right? I've never heard him called Hambone.
It's like more of a clubhouse thing, but it was like, I don't think everybody was really calling him that. I don't think you're missing that. Like the ticket, I don't think was calling him Hambone. It was probably just like a little like low key thing that you call him in the clubhouse. So I don't think you're
Like
missing
it's like
anything
one of those
crazy.
nicknames that people come up with now. The Hambone.
Hambone, Hambone. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really shocked by this announcement. Really shocked. Like out of the blue, after the Rangers game, and just seeing that on, just based off like, his legal stuff that he's been going through the past decade. He's had a lot of struggles with the best of them, but just the legal stuff is what thought made me think that he was just gonna be banished from here forever. And you had Juan Gonzalez not pulling up for the Rangers for, 20 plus years.
Yep.
And he just came back like a few years ago. So I thought that, with that logic, a guy who was like Juan Gonzalez was kind of distant from the organization, was gone that long. Josh Hamilton will never return, right? Let alone be in the Rangers Hall of Fame. So I don't know how they like discussed this and, made this decision, but it is what it is. He's one of my favorite players that we ever got to watch. And unfortunately, his peak didn't last as long as we expected. But as the player, he's a really great guy who made our childhood. So that's really cool.
I think he's the best Rangers player of all time. Maybe, I wasn't old enough to wear or not old enough to know how Nolan Ryan played with the Rangers, but it's Nolan Ryan. I completely respect it. But to me, my prime, Josh Hamilton, best Rangers player, best offensive player. How about that for the
Could
Texas Rangers? And
could make an argument.
it
Yeah.
makes it really interesting. Obviously it's got to be a mutual thing that Josh Hamilton's got to accept this offer and come back. It makes you think because, you talk about the controversy with the fan base, how short of a prime he had with the team. It kind of makes, I mean, I'm just thinking like, you think they ever like sent out an invite to A-Rod? I mean, he had a
I
very
don't know.
short prime with the Rangers that was amazing. Top tier stuff, all-star every year, basically, if not
I,
every year.
I mean, you made a good point. When, Hamilton left for the Angels, he got booed, in that return. You know, Fans kind
Like
of turned
A-Rod.
on him. They turned on him, man.
I wonder if they've ever thought about giving A-Rod an invite. That would be hilarious if he
Yeah,
like would decide to accept it.
I guess they
So
just don't feel him worthy, because you go to the freaking New York Yankees, and maybe that's just the reason why they've
he's not
never
as
thought of
yeah, he's not as
he.
interesting in the Rangers lore. the
Yeah,
Rangers
it's
background.
so weird to think that that dude was a Ranger, bro. Like at one point for a good 3 years.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Or
Largest contract in sports history at the time. We're going to move
crazy.
on to the Dallas Mavericks. And just a real quick little segment with the Dallas Mavericks because not too much going on. Free agency has definitely died down. There's still a lot of good options out there, but the Mavericks kind of have a settled roster at this point, unless they try to pull some big trade, which isn't out of the ordinary with Nico Harrison. But I don't know. We don't know how long Nico's going to be part of the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, you assume that nothing's going to happen, but Mavericks did hire a new president under CEO Rick Waltz. It's Ethan Casson, had some experience with some other NBA teams, and now he's with the Mavericks. And I don't really care too much about his background. What I care about is what he said in his opening presser, which is he added that he would, quote, listen, 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 and listen, end quote, the Mavericks fans, and vow to meet the fans where they are. Here's a direct quote from him. He said, I'll describe it this way. I want to meet fans where they are. So if they're in the we're enthusiastic about the future mode, great. Tell me why and how we can continue to enhance that enthusiasm. And if you're in the camp of, I'm still really disappointed, I can't believe this happened. Great. Going to meet you where you are. Tell us how we change that on your behalf.
So corporate.
It really is so, so corporate.
I think he wants to listen. I don't know if you heard that.
But
I think he wants to really listen.
but hey, you know what? Step in the right direction, baby. Nico, Jason Kidd, when have they ever said that they'll listen to us, man? When did they ever say that? When did Rick Welts ever say that, man? It's not going to mean it. I don't know. Do you really think that this is going to change anything? Is this going to change the culture? Is this what's going to happen here?
Nah, I mean, the president's not really doing like day-to-day like player operation stuff. This is more like the business side.
Mhm.
He's gonna say this stuff, of course, as the president in the front office. So it is what it is. It's a nice little quote. I appreciate it, I guess, like you said. Maybe it is a step in the right direction, but I expect the president to not try to separate his fans. This is a good move for him to try to get in the right foot moving here from, I think, Minnesota. I think I read he used to be. So, Ethan Casson, I wish you the best. Welcome to Dallas. By the way, Luka's looking really skinny. Is it that time of year again that we get fooled by Luka Doncic looking
It's a really good question. I mean, how many years are we going to go with Luka Doncic getting skinny in the offseason and everyone thinking that he's Demon Luka on the way, y'all. Demon Luka on the way.
it's getting nauseating.
I see the whole point of like this year's different, obviously, because of all the crap that the Mavs PR put Luka through. But I mean, you just can't tell. It feels just like the same story, man. It's not like I mean, his the fat shaming on Luka has become widely publicized. All right, but back then, it still was pretty big. I mean, you had a lot of people on ESPN calling him fat and lazy. You had a lot of people on
Crazy.
TNT. I mean, there was so many people when he was on the Mavericks, as much as he is mainstream now, even back then when he wasn't as mainstream playing for a smaller market, whatever. Um, People still believed in that. And but yeah, I mean, come on, man.
It's it's
It's so
it's getting
laughable.
it's getting nasty out here. It's disgusting.
So laughable. It's gonna be, I mean, come on, man. Do we really think he's actually changing? I can't, and it's not like a dig because I always used to get pissed at that too because I was like, well, it doesn't matter if Luka's fucking 250 pounds, all right? If he can bring us to the finals, if he's eating a donut on the way down to the court,
I
if
don't
he's taking
care.
you to the finals, keep him there. I don't care.
I
But
saw
it's
a tweet.
propaganda, man.
I
It's
saw a
propaganda.
funny tweet that, they're basically going to find a way to spin this to make it look like, his work ethic just changed and that, him losing weight and having a team being successful is a tribute to the Lakers. When in reality, he made the finals with the Mavericks with all that criticism. And
I
there are
can't
people saying
lie.
like, I can't wait to see it because they're gonna do it. They're gonna twist it to make it about the Lakers. So
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's hard and this is the whole thing is that the Lakers roster is pretty, it's not a scary roster. You take Luka out of the equation. The only thing is you put Luka in the equation and they do become a scary roster. And we've seen Luka carry squads like this to the finals, or not to the finals, but pretty far in the playoffs and carry them really far, and even in first round matchups when teams were, when the Mavs were obviously outmatched. Um, and I know that it's like they still got LeBron James and he's the greatest player ever, but he's 40, man. He's 40. He's getting into golf. All right.
Hmm.
He's old. He's old now. So, I mean, I'm always going to be worried about the Lakers. I'm always going to be worried about a roster with Luka on the team. I think that any team with Luka has a chance of winning any game. So, I am a little worried about that. But look, man, I think it's always, I think the propaganda with Luka is always so funny whenever it's like, hey, man, this is it. He's actually changing. Like he is MVP Luka, all right?
MVP season loading. You already knew it was coming. I mean, it's just how it is, bro. Every time you see, and just add it with the Lakers now. Obviously, the pressure is there, and they're gonna make it look like LeBron is his favorite player. He'll get right for him, basically. Which I get it, man, but don't act like he didn't take this team to the finals while you were criticizing, while you were calling him a Pillsbury Doughboy, while you were calling him fat. He still did it while his knee was bleeding. So you can act like he didn't have work ethic all you want, and try to get that Michael Finley video of him grabbing the beer like he was just some kind of alcoholic, but he
Dude,
still
people
has
ran with
success here.
that clip, man.
There has to be
People
more.
ran with that.
We'll maintain forever that it was more than just, work ethic. There's
We were
something else
laughing at
that,
it at the time, man.
yeah, we'll get stuff in the future about what really happened behind the scenes. It's more than just him being quote unquote fat. That's probably like the biggest cover. There's more to it. They just didn't like each other.
What we
They
didn't know
didn't
is that
like
was
him.
Luka's like 12th beer. That's just the thing. We don't know that, but
Yeah,
that's all we know.
he was knocking him down apparently.
Yeah, he was knocking them down. I mean, come on. He was knocking them down at halftime. That was his sixth after the game. He had six before the game ended. So
Luka, can you put it down? Son, we gotta play the rest of the second half.
Luka, those are 100 calories each. We really need you to watch.
It's crazy, man.
Moving on
Disgusting.
to the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, we were about to say, man, this is what we always say. Can't catch a break. Kind
It
of
can,
kind of caught a break. Kind of
yeah.
caught a break. The original reports for the Cowboys this week, training camp, Tyler Guyton, they're saying that he had tore his ACL in practice. He was going to be out for the year. And then quickly after that, somebody came out and said, no, just a bone fracture. Looks like he's going to be out approximately 4 to 6 weeks, which means he could be missing a little bit of the first few weeks of the regular season, but potentially could be back before week one. But you look at that schedule, week one with the Philadelphia Eagles, love to have a fully healthy offensive line, even though Guyton did have his, uh, you know, bad moments, last season. Still would love to have him and see him grow, coming into his second year and not still not a good sign, but hey, kind of got a break. Kind of got a break.
Yeah, you need reps when you're a young guy like him. So it is heartbreaking in that fashion. I was hopeful that he could take a nice little leap here as it was not exactly the first rookie. It wasn't the rookie year I was expecting. Maybe you and I were expecting either. But I think that they did catch a break. Usually you're going to see an injury every single year for this team in training camp. I hate to be that guy, but we knew something was going to happen like this. So thankfully it was not an actual like, ACL tear, which I swear everybody was saying. Like literally Adam Schefter was saying he was feared to have a torn ACL, and then all of a sudden you see that it was just a bone fracture. So thank goodness because Nate Thomas, Asim Richards, I don't know if they're going to cut it for an entire season. That'd be tough. Very, very tough. Tyler Guyton, I would rather have there, even though he might have a rocky road. I'd rather have a young guy there getting reps. So hopefully he'll get back in a hurry. He can recover fast because we need this young guy.
Yeah, it's big to always keep the Tylers too. I mean, you got three
Yeah.
Tylers on the offensive line. You don't want to lose one, then it's like lose a little bit of that Tyler power. So, I mean, yeah, no, big blow. You don't want him to have missing these first couple weeks of games. You got the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants, but going to the Bears and Packers, and hopefully he'll be back by then. But you got a little bit strong defensive lines. Obviously, not as strong as Philadelphia's week one's going to be the biggest test, but you gotta hope that he's gonna be back for those games. But yeah, I mean that's really it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not much to talk about the
Not
Dallas
much.
Cowboys,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't
Unless you want
know.
to talk about Cherry again, and fans booing him. By the way.
Jerry, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we can always
Getting the
save
boo
that for another
birds.
week because Jerry's just there'll be new content soon. New content to talk about with Jerry.
Yep.
But that'll be it for the 214 Sports Show, episode 78, the Terrance Steele episode. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us and hear our thoughts about Dallas sports. If you want to follow us more, you can like, subscribe, share this video on YouTube or Spotify, whichever one you're watching, at 214 or at the 214 Sports Show. And then also, you can follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok. We post a lot of bonus content, some of our extra thoughts on those social medias, and that'll be at 214 Sports Show. You can follow us there as well. We'll really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Instagram at tj.krilowicz, and you can also follow me on Twitter/X at tj_Krilowicz. And Joe, you go ahead and tell the audience your socials.
Yeah, for sure. Instagram and X and Twitter. At Joseph underscore Duffy 99 is the same for both. At Joseph underscore Duffey 99. Or you can follow me on TikTok as well. At JOE underscore Duffey.
Follow that man on the talk. Anyways, this is episode 78, the Terrance Steele episode of the 214 Sports Show. We'll see you next week for episode 79. Have a good weekend.